I know that whenever you are starting to work on your money, it can feel really overwhelming and it can be really, really stressful. Ask me how I know. I have been many times stressed about money. And so today I want to share with you 7 tips that will help you save money and feel less stressed about money, because we all know that being stressed about money can really seep into your everyday life. Being stressed about money means that you're usually stressed at home, you're stressed at work, you're stressed with your family, you're just stressed all the time, everywhere, every day. So let's talk about 7 money tips that will help you not only save money, but also be less stressed about money in the process. The first tip is to start tracking your subscriptions quarterly. I'm guessing that there are probably subscriptions that you have completely forgotten about. And I'm not saying that it's because you're not paying attention. I'm just saying it's really easy to sign up for a subscription service and then kind of not use it and forget that it's there, and it's maybe being charged on your credit card or under your Apple ID, and you're not really even sure what you're spending your money on anymore. In fact, CNET did a survey or study or whatever you want to call it, and they found that the average adult is spending $1,080 per year on subscriptions. I know I'm one of them, and millennials are spending even more. Now, I'm not anti-subscriptions. I definitely think that subscriptions can be good in certain doses and for certain situations. However, this survey also found that the average person has over $200 of unused and just forgotten subscriptions. That's $200 that you could be putting into savings, you could be spending on vacation, you could use it to, I don't know, go out to the movies or to a nice restaurant, which is why tracking your subscriptions every quarter is such a great idea. Here's what you're going to do. Simply review your subscriptions every 3 months. This is my subscription tracker. I keep it inside of a Google Sheets. It's part of the Budget My Paycheck spreadsheet. You will see that I have listed all of my subscriptions. I like that it breaks them down by category. I choose the categories, so you can actually choose your own categories, which will then change the drop-down menu on the subscription tracker, which just allows you to see how much am I spending on maybe security, like I have LastPass, which I love paying for. We all know that entertainment tends to be a big thing because everything is on a subscription for entertainment. So I've listed out Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all those types of things. And I like how here you can see not just the monthly price, but how much you're paying every single year. This is a really good idea because it allows you to look at all of your subscriptions and say, do I really want to be paying for this? Am I using it? Is it worth the amount of money I'm spending on it? And then you can decide. If I'm not using something, I can go ahead and cancel it. Or if you've forgotten that you are completely paying for something altogether, you can cancel it and see how much money it's going to save you. I personally do this every 3 months. I literally just put a reminder in my Google Calendar so that I can go in and just review this simple subscription tracker. It just helps me save money and honestly, just be more intentional with the way that I am spending my money. I'm a firm believer that small cuts to our spending can lead to massive savings overall. I'm not delusional. I understand that when it comes to saving money, a lot of times we do need to increase our income. But if you're not in a position where you really need to increase your income or you want to take on a different job, but you still want to save money, small cuts do add up over time. Tip number 2 to saving money is to use a separate account just for your fun money. I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan, and one of my favorite episodes is whenever Donna and what's his face, I can't remember right now, go on a treat yourself day and they take all of their money and they treat themselves. As a budgeter and personal finance expert, I do find it a little excessive. However, still great episode, highly recommend it. And I do believe that we should be treating ourselves every now and then. I don't believe that saving money and living on a budget and paying off debt means that you can never have fun ever. I believe that we have to find a balance. And if you tend to go overboard with your spending, then opening up a separate checking account just for your fun money is a perfect way to kind of keep tabs on yourself and make sure that you are staying on track with your spending money. Here's exactly what that would look like. You would literally open another bank account, another checking account, and label it fun money. So you can see here, this is just my personal checking. I crossed it out, said fun money. You can do this. In fact, my husband actually has his own separate fun money spending account. He is actually my podcast editor. I pay him every single month to edit all of my podcast episodes. Shout out to you, Matt, and check out my podcast also. Shameless plug here. And I pay him money every single month. That money goes into a separate checking account that is just for him. And it's really just for him to spend on whatever he wants. Right now, some of the things that he spends on is we each have a monthly massage membership. It is glorious and so luxurious, and he pays for it with that money. So that's definitely under fun money. I love that it doesn't come out of our family account, but he can do different things with that money that he wants. If you're wondering, Allison, what about your fun money? Well, don't worry. I just spend our money for my fun money. Start by deciding how much you're going to transfer every single month into this separate account. Even if it's only $50, it is so great to have a separate amount for your fun money so that way you can spend it on whatever you want. And bonus points, if you don't end up spending it one month, then it just starts accruing over time. It's a really great way for you to also save up for splurging on something a little more expensive. And of course, the fun part is deciding what you're actually going to spend it on. I'm all for coffee, restaurants, spa-like activities. I don't know. I think I'm in just like the era of self-care where I really just want to get massages and facials and take care of myself, anything that's luxurious, but I don't get to do that very often. I do get my monthly massage though, thanks to my husband's fun money. The reason why this works is because your money is in a separate checking account. That means whenever the money is gone, it's gone. It's really easy to get carried away whenever you're swiping a credit card to just say, I'll pay this off whenever I get paid next Friday. It's really easy to get into that cycle. And instead of falling trapped to that, which is where people end up finding themselves in debt, this is a checking account, meaning when the money is gone, it's no longer there. There is a clear boundary in place for you to keep you on track. And this is going to not only save you money because you're not overspending, but it also takes away stress from your life. You know exactly how much money you have to spend on these fun purchases. And you know that because it's set up the way it is, you're not going to go into debt for this spending. The third money tip is to negotiate your bills. Here's the thing, just because someone says you have to pay a certain amount for a bill doesn't mean that is true. Now, obviously, there are some bills that you likely cannot negotiate. Let's take Netflix, for example. Netflix has different pricing tiers. But when it comes to certain bills that you have, I promise you can negotiate some of those bills. And I know this because this is exactly what we have done to save money. And what's great about it is that usually you just make one phone call and you save money every single month. Here's a good place to start. You can negotiate your bills when it comes to your cell phone provider, your internet provider, and any insurance you have. Think car insurance, home insurance, maybe even renter's insurance or term life insurance. A simple script for you would be to call and say, hi, I've been a customer for blank number of years, and I'm wondering if you have any loyalty programs or discounts that you can offer me. Another really great tip is that if you are a teacher or you have a teacher in your family, maybe even a first responder, ask if there are any discounts for teachers or first responders that you can use as well. They will typically add up. I know that in the past, we've always had teacher discounts on our cell phone bills, internet bill. It's super great. By the way, my husband's a teacher, in case you didn't know. We don't lie about this. Don't lie. Don't lie about that either. Just side note. And then, of course, if you don't want to negotiate, you can always just shop around. That's what we did recently. We have been long-time users of Verizon Wireless, like some of their most dedicated customers, except that we're not anymore. But let me get into that. About 2 years ago, I realized that our bill was $185 for 3 cell phone lines. That included unlimited data, unlimited talk and text, just the standard run-of-the-mill situation. And I realized that soon we were going to be adding my youngest son onto our policy, which means we would have 4 lines instead of just 3. I immediately realized, oh my goodness, our bill is definitely going to be over $200 very soon. And for some reason, that just didn't sit well with me. So I did a lot of research. Let me tell you, I did a lot of research, and we decided to switch completely and leave Verizon. We said, Verizon, we're breaking up with you. And we moved to Visible. Now, Visible is one of those, I guess you could call it like budget-friendly cell phone providers. They are the Frontier Airlines of cell phones. You have Visible, Mint Mobile, things like that. And essentially, we were able to get 3 lines for only $80 a month instead of paying $185 for 3 lines on Verizon. What's so cool about this is that Visible basically leases the cell towers that Verizon has. So Verizon owns these cell towers all over the place, and Visible says, hey man, can we borrow those towers? Can we just use your cell phone frequency waves? I don't know what they call it, but can we use your cell phone frequency waves for our customers? We'll pay you every single month. And then what ends up happening is it's cheaper for the customers. So we still get to use Verizon's data plan, cell phone towers. I don't know. There's a technical word for this. But on top of all of that, we pay less. Now, I did do the research. I looked at the coverage maps in our area and everything to make sure that this would work. We made the switch over a year ago. It has saved us over $100 a month. I do not miss paying so much for our cell phone bill, especially since we are adding my son very soon, and it's only going to go up. When it comes to negotiating your bills, you will be really surprised that they are likely to say yes. It's a lot cheaper for a company to retain their current customers than get new customers. There are promotions out there. You just have to call and ask about them. And I know it's not fun to do it. No one wants to get on the phone and call someone, but I promise it'll take you like 5 minutes and could save you so much money. Tip number 4 to help you save money and stress less about money is a big one. And in fact, this might be the most important one. I should have saved it for last, but I didn't think that much about it. It is to avoid lifestyle creep. When I tell you, I have worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women, and so often people find themselves drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, not because they want to, not because they intentionally made these decisions that said, hey, I know I can't afford this, but I'm going to go out and buy it anyway. No, it's not that. A lot of it comes from lifestyle creep. So what is that? Lifestyle creep is when you very slowly over time start to increase your standard of living. Typically, this happens whenever we get a raise and we say, oh, I got a raise. I'm bringing home more money every month. Now I can afford to get another car and add on a payment there. It's really important to not spend more just because you earn more. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Allison, but if I get a raise, if I get a promotion, why can't I spend the money that I earn? Right? Like I earn more money. Shouldn't I get to spend it? And yeah, I'm all about finding a balance, but it's still important to save some of that and not send it all to your lifestyle and increasing that standard of living. Because I promise you, it's really easy to increase your standard of living, but it's really, really hard to pull back, cut things out of your life, and lower your standard of living. I'm a big believer that when you do get a raise, we should celebrate, and you should use part of that money, part of that increased income you have towards investing, saving, paying off debt, paying yourself first, and building wealth. Use part of it for that, and then use the other half to spend on what you want to very slowly increase your lifestyle. Because the last thing we want is for you to wake up one day and you realize, oh my goodness, I bring home $10,000 a month and my expenses and debt payments and everything is $11,000 a month. No matter how much money you earn or you're taking home every month, if you are spending more than you are making, you're gonna be in a difficult situation. How do we do this? How do we make sure that we don't fall victim to lifestyle creep? Well, so much of it comes down to awareness about where our money is going and what we are spending on, which is why I highly recommend that you track your spending. I use the Budget My Paycheck spreadsheet. I love it. It is chef's kiss. It's so wonderful. And it allows me to see how much money are we spending on restaurants? How much money am I spending on subscriptions every month? Am I happy with that amount? If not, I can start cutting it back. This is really helpful in areas where we do tend to overspend. Our family tends to overspend, definitely with online shopping, buying things for the house, grabbing things just because, and also restaurants. I'm not a chef. I don't enjoy cooking. And after a long day, it's really easy to just like grab Chick-fil-A on the way home. So this has been a really great way for us to track our spending and say, hey, okay, we've been spending a lot on restaurants. Let's pull it back and make sure we are planning out easy meals instead. But of course, I want to make sure I get across that whenever you do start earning more money, it's okay to still spend it on something fun. You just need to be intentional. Ultimately, I am a huge believer that we need financial awareness. And so often we were not taught how to be financially aware. They don't teach this in school. Likely your parents didn't teach you because they were honestly just trying to figure it out as they went. And there are so many amazing tools that these days there's no reason to not be financially aware. So what does that look like? To me, that looks like knowing where my money is going and having a plan for it. I personally use the Budget My Paycheck spreadsheet. I'll link to it down below if you want to grab it. My fifth money tip is one of my favorites, and it is to search for any unclaimed property in your name. Now, you might be thinking, what do you mean unclaimed property? I never bought land or an apartment or a condo or a house. No, it's not physical property. It's basically just a word for money that people owed you. There literally could be hundreds of dollars right now that someone owes you and they just did not know how to get it to you. Here's what you're gonna do. I want you to Google unclaimed property with your state's name. Go to the website, you type in your first name and your last name, and basically it's all going to come up. If you see any property that is yours, it's going to show up right there on the website. It's going to tell you what it's from. It could be an old job where you were never paid your last paycheck and they didn't know how to get it to you. It could be a refund. Typically, I get these in the form of like health refunds or doctor's office, hospitals. Maybe I overpaid and then the insurance kicked in and I moved or something happened and they couldn't get me the money. Whatever it is money that is yours. The business can't keep that money. So it goes into unclaimed property and it's up to you to search for that and essentially prove that you're the owner of it so that way you can get a check in the mail. It literally takes less than a minute to search out the information. And then once you do, you have to register and fill out a form. And I'm not going to lie to you, it does take time to do those, but I have had clients and people I've worked with that have found hundreds and hundreds of dollars of money in unclaimed property. And let me tell you, spending 5 minutes to fill out a form or fax something off is so worth it whenever you have money literally sitting there waiting for you. Tip number 6 to help you save money and feel less stressed with your finances is to try no spend days instead of no spend months. I know that probably at the beginning of the year, you're going to hear a lot about no spend challenges. Don't spend any money January and February. And while that's nice in theory, personally, just thinking about that, I already have overwhelming anxiety because I'm already thinking what's allowed, what's not allowed. Is this even possible? What if I want to spend money? What if I have the money? And already I'm like, no, I'm out. I already can see that I'm going to get overwhelmed and probably fail that challenge. So instead of no spend challenges for the entire month, which let's be honest, is likely going to lead to burnout, try no spend days. These are a lot more doable and motivating. Here's what this could look like. Maybe you decide that every Tuesday and Thursday, you're not going to spend money. Now, obviously, if your electricity bill comes out of your account on a Thursday, that's okay. We're not talking about our necessary bills and expenses. We're talking about not shopping online during those days or just browsing stores in person. We're not going to be going to restaurants or picking up coffee. These little acts of choosing intentionally to not spend money 2 to 3 days a week add up over time. And honestly, I think it gives you breathing room to say, look, I don't need to spend money just to pass time. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I find myself spending money because I'm bored. And I don't want to spend money just when I'm bored. I want to spend money intentionally. And so having no spend days saves me money and it just allows me to have a better relationship with my money and understand why I'm spending money, if it's worth it, things like that. This works because instead of feeling like you are completely deprived of spending money on things that you want, like if you were to do a whole month of not spending money, it allows you to still spend money, but within reason. And most importantly, it forces you to think about your spending and really analyze it, which just helps us build better money habits in general. The final tip to help you save money and feel less stressed about your finances is to automate your savings. You may have heard this one before, but I don't think enough people actually put it into practice. So I'm going to show you exactly how this works for our family and how we do it. Automating your savings is when you decide to make saving money the default not the decision. A couple years ago, we were investing every single month into our IRAs. My husband and I both have a Roth IRA, and we were manually making those investments happen, meaning every single month, a couple of days after we got paid, I would go in and I would make the transaction happen. I had to go and type into the computer or do it on my phone and say, hey, I want to send this money into this account and invest it. While that worked for us sometimes, there were times whenever I would forget or I would spend the money or I would say, maybe not this month. We'll catch up next month and invest extra. And guess what? We didn't. The thing is, I was making it a decision to invest every month, which required discipline. It required structure. It required my brain to actually think about it and do something about it. Instead, when you automate your savings, you make it a default. You never have to think about it. You never have to do it. The bank does it automatically for you. And guess what? That's what we ended up doing because there were too many times when I was like, we'll do it later. It's really easy to fall into this thinking pattern that, well, if I'm not automating $100 to $500 to $1,000 a month, it's not worth it. No, don't think that. Even small amounts add up. Even if you're just automating $20 a week into your emergency fund, those numbers add up. Like I said, we do this for our investments, but we also do it for different sinking funds we have. So you'll see that on the 5th of every month, unless the 5th falls on a weekend, then it might be sooner. But on the 5th of every month, we have $400 taken directly out of our checking account and it's transferred into a separate online high yield savings account. Then from there, it is split into 3 different buckets. We split it between our HOA dues that we pay once a year, Christmas savings, and some money for vacation savings. I intentionally have this set up to happen about 4 to 5 days after payday because I want that money out of my checking account so that way I don't spend it on who knows what. This is such a great way to make saving automatic. Like I said, we want saving money to be the default, not the decision. If you've ever heard that saying, pay yourself first, this is what that looks like. You might be thinking, pay myself first. I don't pay myself. I'm not a business owner. No, pay yourself first means that you make saving the default. You set it up to happen automatically so that way you don't even have to think about it. And then you can spend what's left after saving. You can do this when it comes to investing, your emergency fund, or even if you just want to send extra money to debt. Maybe you have a couple of credit cards you're trying to pay off. You can send that money to debt first. So that way you're not spending it on who knows what. So there you have it. Those are the 7 money tips to help you save money and stress less about finances. Now, I'm not over here trying to pretend that every single one of these tips is brand new information to you, but I do hope that there are at least 1 or 2 of these that maybe you've heard before and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to actually implement that today. Or maybe there's 1 or 2 that are brand new for you. Whatever it is, I want to hear from you. I want to know which of these are you going to try out. And of course, if you're just in this season of life right now where you're like, I need all the help, give me all the free resources, all the things to help me manage my money better, then I want you to take my 7-day money makeover challenge. It's completely free. You're going to get an email once a day for 7 days where I'm going to give you a really easy action step. You'll get my 1-page budget, and it's a great way for me to basically walk alongside you and say, hey, we are going to find extra money in your budget. We're going to write a budget, take back control of our spending, so that way you feel less stressed and anxious about money overall. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so that way you don't miss any more money saving videos.